Today, I'd like to share with you how I repaired a rusted out deck on a lawnmower. Apparently, this is a common problem. You don't want to repair something like this just by putting tape over it. One of the main functions of this deck is to prevent things struck by the blade from flying out and hurting someone. I don't know how well duct tape will stop a rock moving 70 miles an hour. And since this lawnmower starts every time I pull it, I'm going to hang on to it. So let's repair it. First, remove whatever parts are in your way so you can gain access, like this wheel. Using an angle grinder, either a solid disc or a flap disc, your choice. We want to remove the paint from around the damage. Paint does an outstanding job of hiding stuff that you need to see. You also need bare metal to weld. After the paint was removed, I found this rot that was completely hidden by the paint. Now let's find a piece of metal that will completely cover all of our rot and start shaping it. When you're trying to bend a piece of metal and make a rounded edge on it, the ball-peen hammer would be your choice tool. My original plan was to try to save this washout port, but as this project progressed, I decided this port probably caused all this rot in the first place, so it's time for it to go. The Sawzall is the tool for this job. With the port out of the way, continue your cleanup. Expose all the rot. With the port out of the way, it's considerably easier to continue shaping your metal. We need to cut out a notch for the wheel support bracket. Now we cut off the extra metal. As it turns out, there's several compound bends that I had to make. So I figured that shaping the metal would be a lot easier if I cut the metal into smaller pieces. Then I'll just weld them back together later. Shaping all this metal actually turned out to be the longest part of this entire repair process. Once all my replacement metal is shaped, I want to cut out as much of the rot as possible so it doesn't continue growing. Unfortunately, I can't cut any of the stuff in the back of the mower apart because that's all support structure for the wheels. So I'll just reinforce it and hope for the best. Finally, we get to the fun part. It's time to weld. A fit check of my replacement part shows it'll all work. Now let's set up the welder. I'm using a Miller-Matic 141 MIG welder, and dare I say it, I love this machine. On the side of the machine there's a table to help you set it up. So I'm using 75% argon, 25% carbon dioxide mix for my gas. Move across the table, I'm using .030 diameter welding wire. The metal I'm welding on appears to be about 20 gauge, so this means my machine voltage will be set to 3, and wire feed speed will be set to 40. Let's start making sparks. With metal this thin, it's real easy to blow a hole right through it. Ask me how I know this. But just be patient and build up the sides and fill that hole back up again, then grind it down after you're done. You'll also notice that anywhere where the lawnmower metal is curved, the metal is actually thinner there because it's been stretched. So these will be your problem areas when you're welding. I actually just used hundreds and hundreds of tack welds, giving it plenty of time to cool down in between. I'm sure there's probably a better way to do it, but my local welding trade school wants me to quit my job and spend 2 years full-time in their school to learn how to do this welding. My bride suggested that's probably not a good idea for a lawnmower repair, so I'm going to go with it and use lots of tack welds instead of school. When you're all done welding, clean it up with a grinder. Remember, a grinder can be an inexperienced welder's best friend. Here we can see I'm welding on the additional parts. As I was welding, this is kind of what it looked like most of the way around. Finally, many hours later, the last piece starts to go in. Now we need to protect all that bare metal. I use this paint and primer combination. It works pretty well. And when I'm trying to paint something to protect it, I use a different color than the original. This way I assure I get 100% coverage. So this year I'm going to be using a green lawnmower. Next year after I do my maintenance, I'll be using a red lawnmower again. It also has the fun side effect of making the neighbors wonder how many different lawnmowers you own. In my original plan, I was also going to weld the bottom side. But since I have 6 hours invested in this project already, and when I sprayed it with water nothing came through my top weld, I went to plan B. I covered every single joint with sealant. The grass clippings will probably wear most of the sealant away. But I'm pretty sure the sealant that's in the cracks won't be affected. And hey, it can't hurt, right? Once the seal is cured, I throw a couple coats of black spray paint on it. And finally, the last step. This is a graphite spray paint. It's designed to keep grass clippings and stuff from sticking to the bottom of the mower. It doesn't have a real long lifespan, but it sure does simplify cleaning the mower after each use. Those grass clippings just wash right off. Under no circumstances do you need to be breathing this stuff while you're applying it, though. Graphite and the human body, not a good mix. Well, that's about it. In this video we went from this to this. I sure hope this video is going to help someone. Thanks for watching.